Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, this is a new batch from Spurti College.
Just a minute. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay, fine. So, just a minute. Okay.
Class started? Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. So let me start with my introduction. So I am Dr. Anita Walia. I am the Assistant Director in Jain University, looking after the Center of Excellence, Education Excellence in Transforming Technology. I am also the visiting faculty in Bangalore. I basically used to teach them in CRCE cell, which is basically entrepreneurship. So I take some sessions over there. So let me start today by giving you the introduction on certain things on AI. I was told that this particular batch is already using or they have taken the course on AI. So I thought that I will start with a very basic and beginning level of AI. And maybe I can take a suggestion always from you people that what kind of session do you want in the next class? Because we can have various kinds of sessions on AI. Especially this particular kind of a session is for allowing you to, just a minute, is my voice reflecting? Is
No,
bouncing
ma'am.
back?
No, ma'am.
No, okay,
No.
fine.
It's clear.
Okay, fine. Okay, so the basic point here is that this particular expert sessions are arranged to help the students connect between the academics, that means theory, and the practical. When I say theory, I don't mean that you are not doing any kind of a coding or you're not learning. That is not practical, I'm saying. Whatever knowledge you are building in your college or whatever course you are doing, on the top of that course, you also require a connection between the knowledge and the application of that in terms of university, in terms of industry. So, how do you apply that? So, this particular session is all about how do you connect your knowledge to what is happening around the world? What is the application of that? And that helps you in doing or coming out with the new ideas, floating new business, or when you're working in the organization, how do you go about, thinking about new concept or a new kind of a app? Okay. So I start with the introduction part. Okay. So today's session is basically designed on the application of AI and a little bit of introduction of AI. So I would like you people to stop me wherever you feel that you have to ask a question. You can put it in the chat box. I would rather like an interactive session where the students can interact by writing questions. Any kind of questions, if I have a capability of answering, I will definitely try to answer that question. So let us start, students. Okay. So now when we talk about AI is basically the ability of machine to think. Now, when we talk about think, whenever I take this particular session offline with students, the students normally have a query where they say that I'm thinking means what? How do you define thinking? So there are various concepts and the various kinds of various aspects of thinking. How do you make machine imitate all those aspects of thinking of human being? Okay. So as a human, we can think, we can learn from our experience. That is also a kind of a thinking. We learn from informal and the formal way, right? A formal way is the way where we go to the colleges, schools, and we learn something which is taught by our teachers or by the faculty in the universities. And the informal way is we learn from our environment, our friends, our parents, peers, so many things, the environment which is surrounding you. So in terms of AI, again, today we have the both kind of learning which can be imitated or which can be copied, like supervised or unsupervised learning. So let us try to understand how human beings think and how you can imitate all these aspects of human thinking or human intelligence, the cognitive process, into the AI. Now, till today, We have not made a system which can copy 100% of the human thinking or human decision making process, or you can say the interpretation process. So let us understand that first. Now, every time when we say AI, everybody thinks AI is automation, isn't it? We always say that, okay, we fine, what, AI can do certain tasks which human being can do, like repetitive task of typing, repetitive task of writing a content, writing something, or repetitive task of operating a machine. So do you think that AI is automation? So I will say no, automation is not AI. Artificial intelligence is the science and engineering of teaching computers to do activities that require human intellect, such as perception, speech recognition, decision making, language translation. That's how the chat GPT is coming with large language modeling, LLM. That also we are going to discuss in one of the session about generative AI, conversational AI, open AI. So many forms of AI are there. Okay. Initially, when we started learning about AI, we had only two kind of AI: narrow AI and the weak AI and the strong AI, or reactive AI. So many very technical kinds of stuff. But within today, the environment is generating. Maybe you can come out with certain other kind of AI. Okay. So that is how the AI scope is widening day by day. So it is not all about how do you create a machine which can replicate not only human thinking, but also the human look as well as the human behavior. For example, the most famous, AI example can be in the field of robotic engineering. So robots are considered one of the best examples of AI. They exhibit all the uh, behavior or the cognitive components of human being. So they replicate all. So Sophia, who has got the citizenship from Saudi Arabia, is one of the most intelligent AI machine. Not only does Sophia look like human being, we can't call it robot, we can call it humanoids. Not only they look like human being, but they can also talk and think like human being. They can be funny. They can they will not have a kind of a system where they will answer only something called frequently asked question, or they are programmed to answer on certain domain. So AI can apply, a machine can be considered as AI if it can apply three domain of AI, which is data, computer vision, natural language processing. So this is something which we are going to discuss in throughout our session whenever we have our session on different aspect. So this is all about AI. So AI is making a machine which not only think like human being. Thinking means perception, interpretation, recognition, recognizing your friend. You meet somebody, you don't know them. But if you become friend, start knowing them by their names. Then you start understanding their behavior, their facial expression. So nobody has taught you to understand somebody like that. So how do you interpret your environment? How do you make decisions, whether it's a decision of deciding what to wear today, or it's a decision on at a level of company, or maybe at a level at your level, taking a decision on which job to be taken or what course you should do. All these kinds of process, and even it deals about language. How do you understand? How do you pick up language? How do you understand somebody who's not speaking in a proper way, or maybe speaking in a very proper way? Like understanding American speaking English, British people speaking English. So this is how what AI is all about. So AI sometimes may have the capability better than human being, but then again, when it comes to a machine which can replicate 100% of human, brain capability or the human capability, the cognitive ability, still we need to develop that. Maybe there will be a time when we can develop this. So let us see how our life will be with or without AI. Now we are living in an era where we are using AI in various kinds of equipments or various kinds of devices which we are using. We are surrounded with kind of devices which has AI. So everybody knows that this is what AI is. It must have AI. That is reason why it is doing like that. But near future, or it has already started, where you will have everything done with the help of AI. And you can't imagine your life without AI. For example, you can't imagine your life without mobile phone now. There was a time when we didn't have a mobile phone. Even I live in an era where I didn't have a mobile phone when I was in college. I could not have imagined my life with something where I can stay connected with everyone whom I know, and I can be available to anybody I know. And today I cannot imagine I lived in that era and I survived. Today I cannot understand or I cannot imagine my life without mobile phone. Not only with you, but it is with your parents or with the generation like me. So soon there will be a kind of a situation or the environment where you will be using AI in everywhere. So this is one of the best example which I can see. So you can all see that. Can you all hear the sound of the video? Sound from the video?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, madam.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear the voice from the video? The sound? I'll just check. Okay, let's try. Now can you hear?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just let me. You can't hear the voice. Okay, there is some problem with this particular computer. Actually, I'm not using my laptop. Anyway, I will just explain you. Okay, so when you see this is a particular video on an insurance company which is using an AI. So what happens when you meet with an accident? Normal procedure is that, say there is a two procedure. One, this person is actually using an AI app, and this is a person who is not using an AI. He is using a normal way. So he is going to call his insurance company to claim the insurance. Whereas this person who is using an AI app, so as soon as he gets an accident, he is being called by the insurance company who ask him first whether he is okay or not. And now he is being asked about what is the damage and all. So what happens now? The person says the location is also automated here through his mobile. So now they are going to send a drone to basically check the damages, and the drone is going to, you can see the drone has come. The drone is taking the picture of the damages from all the side of the car, whereas this person who's not using an app with an AI has to call and explain the way we do it. You have to take the picture, you have to upload the picture, you have to ask. So this person, within a few seconds, he's got a help. The drone has taken the picture of all the damages, whereas the other person is still calling. And this person, if you see, this, not only the drone takes the picture and process the claim within few seconds after assessing the damage, he also, the AI also, see, he's got a picture of all the damages on his mobile phone. And when he agreed to whatever the damages is being sent by them and the insurance claim, he can claim the insurance. And then they also arrange a cab for him. So they are thinking, just like anybody will think about it, that if you have got an accident, you will not be able to drive. So there is, you can see that one tow truck has come. The tow truck is already arranged. It has come. The tow truck is going to take the car to the damage place, and he's got an Uber car or maybe a kind of a taxi, whereas the other person is still trying to reach. So this is basically a kind of a insurance company who is using the AI. I'm sorry about the voice. Maybe in the next class, tomorrow's class, I may show you the video again. So this is something which AI is going to do, and it's already started doing. This example is of an insurance company which is already existing in US, where you just have to download and you have to pay the premium, and once the insurance, anyway, anytime it is the accident happen, automatically it will detect, or you press the insurance, or you activate the insurance app, and automatically it will calculate the damage. It will do everything for you which you are requiring, so you will not have any problem. So this is going to be the future. And just like a mobile phone, you will not be able to imagine your life without AI. Already we are using AI in various aspects and in our environment, but this is something which is extraordinary. So in terms of, in technical term, how do we define artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence is something called a software algorithm. It is not something which is only, which is just a concept or something, or some perception or some miracle. It is a kind of a software algorithm which you people are going to develop after you learn whatever language tool you're using or the programming tool you will be using. So it is a software algorithm which attempt to replicate the task which require human intelligence. So artificial intelligence is the intelligence of a machine or a computer which try to imitate or mimic human capability. So AI applications are now becoming embedded in almost all aspects of economical, social, and personal life. Whether it is managing your mutual funds, whether it is helping you find a better romantic partner, or even personalized counseling. Everywhere, in every field, we find AI now. So initially, when AI started developing, long time back in 1960, when the AI concept was developed, at that particular time, the effort was to develop AI which will focus largely on feeding highly codified knowledge to computers, and then try to have them mimic human decision making. That was the only goal and the motive of AI. For example, the researcher would actually interview a doctor, for example, and create an expert system of medical expertise by taking the expertise knowledge of the doctor as a knowledge base, and try to codify their decision making rules, how they take decision about diagnosing a disease, about a treatment, about anything related to medical field. So replicating that decision making rules. So that was a guide. So developing an expert system embedded with the codified knowledge of an expert in that domain was the effort earlier. Now, today, it has, over the past decade, the computer scientists have been tackling with the problem of developing an AI which is more promising, which is more strong, right? And we started with something like a toddler learning to walk. while a trial error method. So today we are not in a trial error method stage. That was a stage which started in 1960s when the AI started with trial and error method, trying to mimic certain things. The how a small child learn, how they learn to walk, how they fall, then they get up and they get hurt, and then they learn how to avoid that kind of injuries for them. Similar kind of a method of trial and error method was done to mimic human behavior into machines. Okay, so that is the ground level experiment. So learning from the ground level till the level which we have come to now, where we have OpenAI, generative AI, so many things which is coming and making the human life more simple, is something which we have reached now. We're going to come from that to that point and understand what are the different kinds of application which were made at that time and how it has improved over the period of time. So that this type of machine learning, which where the machine could be programmed to learn similar behavior of human being, is the core paradigm of the AI today. So AI doesn't work without data. All of you must be knowing that. They require a certain kind of data to take good decisions, just like human beings. So we use different kinds of technology to do that. Okay. This is what I said. So we have basically two kind of approaches in AI, top-down approach and ground-up approach. Top-down approach is the earlier form of AI, where human being used to define rules. Like I gave you the example of expert system, a medical expert system, where you will build up a knowledge base of all the doctors about a particular disease, let's say for about lung cancer. And you can put those knowledge and try to codify that data. And depending on how the doctor used that particular knowledge to take a decision of diagnosing a disease and giving a treatment, you use that. And then second one is now, which we are using, is called ground up approach, where we use a huge data set to make the computer learn from that. So there are certain kind of structured data which is fed into the machine to train the AI model, and there can be certain unstructured data which is also used today by the machine to learn on its own, right? The machine learning part, supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement learning. Maybe you might have gone through that, your teachers might have taught you that, but we will be touching upon that here and there with some examples. Okay. So these are certain domains. So you can make machine think by using ML, machine learning, and machine learning use statistical tool to explore your data. As I was telling you today, the data can be, the learning can from the data can be supervised, unsupervised, or reinforcement learning. So supervised learning is a past label data. I will be doing some kind of a demo with you people, not in this session, where I will literally show you that you can use a no-code AI platform to understand the supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Maybe let me see if I complete this application of AI today. Maybe tomorrow I can take you through those sessions, because I have to find out that how many sessions I have for AI with you people. Depending on that, I will tell you, because I will try to focus more on demo with the software, with certain kind of application online. Okay. So today I just don't want to jump on this particular demonstration of AI from a particular app, but maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll find out from your teachers that, or maybe from the Kionix, that whether you have the what is a level of understanding you have, what level you are in. Okay. Then we have unsupervised learning, where we don't have a label data. Okay. And we use certain techniques like clustering technique, where we have some characters, recognize characters and cluster the same kind of thing into one particular things. For example, let's say you have various article which is of various shape. You want to segregate them. So what you do, the first method of segregation is clustering this item is basically on the basis of shape. So square item you'll put into one, or maybe you can cluster on the basis of colors. So a similar characteristic object put into one particular cluster is called clustering method. Then you have reinforcement. The reinforcement type of learning, this are all part of machine learning, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. The reinforcement where there's some data labeled and some are not labeled, both the kind, hybrid kind. So that means labeled data learning is supervised, non-supervised, unsupervised learning, is not labeled data, and reinforcement is both. So if we try to understand from our own learning, human learning, supervised learning for us is in schools and colleges, where we are trained by the teachers on certain topics. Whatever they want, they teach us on that, or whatever topic we want to learn, we take that course and we learn. So under the supervision of a teacher, you learn certain things. Unsupervised learning is learning on your own, learning from the environment, learning from internet, learning from friends, learning from parents, all these unsupervised. Reinforcement is both. Then we have the next subset of artificial intelligence, which is really very strong, is called deep learning. So this is a subset of ML. Artificial intelligence, subset is machine learning, subset of machine learning is deep learning. So machine learning, that means that we can make machine learn like human. Multilunar architecture to mimic human brain. Like for example, the visual data, the time series data. So how do we make machine learn like human being with the knowledge what they have and with the trial error method, or also with certain surrounding unsupervised learning? How do they form, they use certain techniques, statistical tool like algebra, regression, correlation, probability, all those kinds. Okay. So let us look into some of the importance of AI in our day-to-day life. Where do we see AI in our day-to-day life? If you want to check some example of AI in our day-to-day life, we can just see a lot of examples. AI is actually growing for the past few decades, and it is enabling people at a personal level and at a business level to achieve something which is unthinkable. So by giving the machine the power to think and evaluate is the most challenging steps forwarding in the computing world. So because of this, the adoption of AI and machine learning, businesses have eliminated most of their repetitive tasks. Like in factories, you have smart factories now. In the automobile factories, we have robots making the machines, or we have AI application in bank. A lot of the tasks which were done manually by the human laborers are now done by AI machines. And the focus is on the human focus is now shifted to solving a unique and critical problems rather than doing a repetitive task. So AI is in itself a broader term used for encapsulating a vast variety of subdomain. So machine learning is one of them. Then one example which I want to tell you is a face recognition system. This is our day-to-day example which I'm telling you now. Then I'll come to business or different field, example in different field with certain cases on that. One of the best example here is the face recognition technique started by the Apple, iPhone with the security Face ID. They use neural engine and facial recognition. Okay. And what happens in this? They use a 3-dimensional map of the user face, capturing the facial map image during the unlocking process. And it is working when even work when the user are wearing some accessories, such as you wear glasses, scarf, or you do makeup. You have certain different features. For example, the boys have grown their hairs, or the girls, they have changed their look. So everything, even if you change your hairstyle also, it will recognize you because it makes a 3D map of your face, which is a bone structure, and try to recognize you after you come in front of the camera. So even though your face has slightly changed or drastically changed, still it recognizes you. So it uses AI there. The second example, very big example, where we use AI in our day-to-day life is email. So you have seen nowadays, even in Gmail, you have a smart email composition. You can immediately reply. You have a reply feature in Gmail based on machine learning algorithm and natural language processing. So Gmail use natural language processing, NLP, and machine learning algorithm to give you the answer. For example, if somebody has asked you certain question or has given you some, and you will have certain kinds of answers for that. When you are writing, for example, you're writing a mail to somebody, you can have an autocomplete feature. But autocomplete feature is not a very best example. It's a narrow AI, but still it's an AI. It suggests you. It suggests you that what should be written. And suppose you have not attached a attachment while you are saying that find attach, and you don't have it, then it reminds you about that. Even the spam filtering is also an example of narrow AI. The next very good example, which I like the most, so this is something which is now integrated into Outlook Express and your Gmail, where you can schedule a call and it will remind you that your call is scheduled. Okay. Netflix is one of the best example. They use the smart implementation of AI and machine learning to give you recommendation on what to watch next. I was reading one book and there a very funny thing which will make us laugh, and which will make us also think. It was said that the Google and Netflix, they know you better than you know yourself. So if you are asked that what are you going to watch tomorrow or today, you will not have any answer because you will browse. You have a lot of content available on Netflix. This content recommendation is based on your age, your profile, your browsing, ability, because age and profile you're not feeding, but still they have certain idea about that. So what they do is they basically put you into a group of people who have the same like and who browse the same kind of a stuff, and they give you recommendation. So the recommendation what to watch next is given to individual people based on the data which they collect from your browsing history. And they put it into machine learning algorithm and they use AI to give you that recommendation and end up doing that. Even though you don't feel like watching something you may not have decided earlier, but because of the recommendation, you end up watching that. So by learning from the user past viewing activity, and utilizing an effective content rating system, what Netflix does, this factored together with hundred of other metrics, which is the underlying algorithm, it gives a magical recommendation system. So Netflix case study is one of the best example of machine learning algorithm. They have the best one. The next example is Google Map. Now, Google Map initially when they started didn't have an AI feature. It used to just take a satellite picture and give you. So it was most of the time it was wrong. But today, Google Map, with the help of machine learning, learns about your everyday work commute and alert you of the traffic slowdown. And when it is time to leave, for example, I leave my office at 5 o'clock every day. And I travel a long distance of 18 kilometers and I drive. So before I leave, even if I know the way, before I drive, I don't even open the Google Map to find out the way. But when I started coming to this place, I started using Google Map. Now, Google Map notes my time of using the Google Map, and it was around 5 o'clock, and my destination, the place from where I'm going, and it used to know the navigation. Now, even if I don't use the Google, I get a message or notification from time to time that this is the fastest route you want to try. So I have not opened my Google Map, I'm not using, still I get a notification. This is a work of machine learning and AI, which gives you this information. Even though if you don't ask, it try to help you. So it can also identify the delay in transportation system like flight, trains. Nowadays, you can find out the status of flight. Your relation is traveling in a flight, a particular flight. You can just go to an app and find out that what can be the delay, the train delay. So the data is not fed by the company, but still you can find out. And this can be because of the lot of data which is unstructured in nature, help the machine learning in determining. They learn from the past data and use the current data to give you those information. So you can track your bus, you can track the traffic, weather condition, depending on weather condition, depending on traffic. They can tell you different sensors on the road. They can tell you about the traffic on the road. Because if you have a smart city like Singapore or any other city, you will have the sensors on the road and the sensors everywhere to tell you the traffic congestion on a particular road. Then the next very good example is Google predictive search algorithm, the Google search engine. So no longer we can say the Google is a dumb search engine. The Google predictive search algorithm, whenever you try to search on Google, you must have noticed a few search terms which automatically populate. For example, I have taken a screenshot. If I like write machine learning, automatically it gives me a auto populate certain search field for me. So behind this Google autocomplete feature that shows a prediction as you type your search term character by character is a machine learning algorithm. So the algorithm for artificial intelligence used behind this predictive search, which in the Google is called the rank brain. You can just do a search on that and you will find the entire case on that. And the task of the rank brain is to fetch the result based on queried data. And with each search, it improves the search result because we don't have time. We are living in a now economy. We want everything now. Even if the Google is taking time for finding what we want to find, then in that case, we will not be using Google and Google will lose its monopoly, what it has now, 80% or 90% of the market. So in order to improve their search results, they use this machine learning algorithm. And in order to give you more relevant result, what you want. So Google used the combination of technology behind its leading search engine, which includes neural network, deep learning, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. So with this, the Google search algorithms, it becomes very easy and convenient for the people to search what they want. The next example is e-commerce company. So you go to Big Billion Day sale, you want to find out that which is the best, deal which is available on certain, for example, you want to buy a laptop. And you might have done a search, you might have put something in the, wish list, or maybe you have put something in the past when there is no sale. Or you might have browsed those sites. So e-commerce has actually started using, especially Amazon, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And with this basically help in improving the search on the e-commerce site and giving you a better customer experience so that you don't end up leaving the site because you've not found what you want, though they have it, because the Amazon has a vast variety of things which they have. Sometimes it happens that because you're not able to search, because of the search engine phase what you're writing, you will not get what you want. So you can notice that suppose if I am trying to search, I just took a screenshot of this and I'm showing you. If I try to type something called red bag, so I'm searching for a red bag, but I've not specified to the Amazon that what kind of bag I want, whether it is a handbag or it is a backpack or it's a suitcase. So what happens when as soon as I type, it shows me all the varieties. It is possible by underlying AI algorithm, which try to regularly categorize products, search for efficient indexing. And based on my past browsing history, they also understand maybe I'm a student, I'm looking for a backpack. If I was looking for a handbag and I've searched and I've browsed that, it will give you the red bag in the handbag kind. So this is the use of AI in e-commerce. And one of the best example of AI is the video games. AI ML have been used in video games for a long time to basically provide a self-improving and challenging experience to gamers. So one of the best example of AI in our everyday life is experienced by the players in the form of smart personal assistant. That is like your Alexa and all, or maybe in the iPhone Siri. So smart personal assistant with the improvement in speech recognition systems. You have a conversational AI, which is used here. So digital assistants is coming to a perfection here. Voice assistants are the best example of AI in our real life. So Google Assistants, Alexa, Siri, all these are the best example of AI. So they take your questions with the help of, and they process it with the help of speech recognition system or the natural language processing. All these are basically used to give you the perfect answer what you want. Okay. So I don't think this, okay. You can just see there is no narration over here. You can just see the caption. So if you can see here, sorry. Just check into this video that how they are trying to build a machine, maybe in the form of robots or any other kind of a software, how they try to integrate or imitate human behavior. So making a machine which can catch things, which can shake hands, just like human being, which can grab certain things. You can see that how they're trying to mimic human behaviors and how they learn on their own, whether it can be jumping or holding something and dropping it, giving information, or maybe in the form of computer, mobile phone. So from deep learning to anything, or maybe it is an automated car, autonomous car, which we can say in the Tesla or Google driverless car. In factories, picking up things, robotic machines, or maybe in bank using robots to give information to you. But the thing is not about taking the job from you. The thing is about human being doing more creative and skillful job and leaving the routine job to these robots. So it says that the AI is not here to threat you, or it is not a threat for you for your jobs. So these are some examples which I also explained. Alexa, Samsung Bixby, voice command, so natural language, Netflix recommendation system, as I told you. So you have customer services through AI, machine learning algorithm basically analyze your business performance from your data, smart robotic system in Amazon, which is called Kiva Robots, then voice assistant, then your robot cleaning your house, the robotic cleaning machine. All these are some example. The drones, autocopter by Amazon, which is not allowed in India at present, or maybe the biometric system, or maybe some movies you might have been seeing in where you can, float the screen in the air and you can just see, anything which you want. Then general AI, weak AI, all those kinds. So we'll just move because this videos now. Now let us take some example of how companies are using. When it comes to AI, Google is one of the company which is doing their best, and they are the company who have a lot of application being developed. So Google is deploying AI in various ways to create user value. So when we want to visualize how AI can create value for your company and your customer, so let us look at some example of certain companies that how they are developing the AI to create value for their customers. So Google stand out as a leader in this, in both developing AI technology and deploying it for giving it power to diversity of the product and services. So of the thousand of different ways that Google deploy the AI, let's say from driverless car to advertisement on YouTube, the three latest application which I can think and I can point out to you starts with search engine. The Google oldest service, and almost they have the maximum revenue coming from search engine in the form of advertisement. Obviously, you're not paying, but you are actually not a consumer. You are a product to any company who's giving you free services like social media network and all. So Google is deploying AI to make search more relevant to the user. I have given you example, which also includes something called voice search, which enable user to pose queries via search Then a rank brain system, which uses neural network to increase the relevance of search result. The latest advancement is something called MUM. You can find out about this. It is called multitask unified model, and which was showcased in mid 2021, and it represents a step improvement. MUM aims to integrate content and context at a level which is not achieved so far. What happens? I will show you with example. When I'm teaching you conversational AI, at that time I will tell you that if you want to fill a particular sentence, how human being will fill, they will know the context of it. Whereas if the machine has to auto complete one certain things, they will not have the context in mind. They will only have the trained model. With the help of data, because of the past experience, they will do as it is. So the context is very important here. So let's say you want to figure out which school is best for your child. The best answer would depend on deep knowledge, the factors, like for example how far it is from your school, whether you have a capability of paying that fees, how difficult it is to get into admission in that school, whether the school had certain facilities which you want, what is the timing of the school, what is your timing, can you pick up your child at that time. All those factors will help you in taking a decision. So mum is actually a powerful, which uses NLP to transfer learning predecessor. And it has a system called BERT. Okay. So it thinks exactly like the way, as I said, you think about your child taking admission, certain factors, to take a decision on that. So it integrate the something called content and context. So this kind of a questions, just how you integrate your need and your capability and your the facility what you want in that particular school to take a decision on choice of school. Similarly, the mom also does the same thing. It take decision in the way the human being take decision. Okay, so that is one which I told you. The next very good example of is the Google Pixel branded smartphone. In October 2021, Google launched this Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, the latest model. So according to the review, this device compete with the best from Apple iPhone and Samsung. It has a lower price also, but some very important feature which has outdone certain things from the other was a user benefit. The differentiator in this smartphone is the use of AI. Pixel 6 run on custom built tensor chip designed to run multiple machine learning models in the device itself instead of in the cloud. Whereas if you use iPhones and Samsung also, they're all AI based application, including your iWatch or anything, whatever application you run is based on cloud. Whereas the Google Pixel 6 has a custom built tensor chip in which they used to run the multiple machine learning model. So it is running in the device, not in the cloud. Okay. So as a result, everything in the device from audio quality to battery user became smarter. And the app also started responding faster because the information does not need to travel back and forth between device and the cloud and depend on your bandwidth, the internet bandwidth. So the new live translate feature also enable the user to message back and forth with real time simultaneously translation without opening a separate app. So there is a software that guides. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm just getting a call. I'll just attend the Sorry. Okay, I just went ahead. Okay, so let us look into some of the example now. I'll skip all these things. Okay, I told you about Google. Okay, one more example of the Google, if we look into the Google, is the Google Isomorphic Laboratory. Okay, so what Google is doing is this particular isomorphic laboratory, what Google is using a DeepMind AlphaFold technology, which is which has the ability to predict the structure of nearly every protein in human body with a perfect accuracy. So isomorphic has, this is the name of their lab, which uses the AI to, they have also partnered with a lot of pharmaceutical company and biomedical company. And they try to bring a lot of new treatment through clinical trial method also, because you need to do that. So they deploy this particular technology. Now, so this video I'm going to skip now. Stop it. Can you hear a voice? The sound here? No?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. I'll just skip this. Okay, I'm just going to skip that. Okay, fine. This is just going to YouTube. Just a minute. Just a minute. Give me a few minutes. So I know with some difficulty, it's not going back. There's some problem with the computer. Okay. Okay. So let us look into the 5 AI trend now. Okay. So what are the 5 AI trends? So as we dive deeper into the digital era, AI is emerging as one of the powerful change catalyst for several business. So we are going to talk about how business is using AI. So what is a trend now? The trend is about computer vision, which refer to AI, which uses ML algorithm to replicate human-like vision. Human-like vision doesn't mean that you just see something and you can just see it. Human-like vision means seeing and interpreting what it is. Example, if you see a dog and a cat, how do you differentiate between two animals? Because both of them look alike. But a human being who see dog and cat will will be able to tell differentiate between a dog and cat, though maybe they may have a similar characteristic, but they are different. So how do you interpret whether and differentiate between two friends of yours who are of the same age, same, maybe they're male or female? Because you know how to, by looking at them and by understanding certain feature. Nobody has trained you to do that. So that is about human computer vision. And the models are trained to identify a pattern in the image. I will show you in the other sessions how it does. I'll show you by example using an application. So how do you identify a pattern in the image? How do you classify the object based on recognition? For example, computer vision can scan an inventory in the warehouse and can tell that. Okay, can you pause them? Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Similarly, in the self-driving car, computer visions are very helpful. It has been tested by the company like Tesla, Uber, Google, GM. All these companies have used computer vision to make that product work. So trend is that it is going to scale in next 12 months. In August 2021, Tesla unveiled a kind of a chip called Dozo, which was designed to process large volume of image collected by computer vision system. I'll be giving you next session a lot of examples on that. Then another trend which we want to talk about is the smart chatbot or virtual assistant. Each one of us are using. This comes basically from the pandemic time. The global industries are becoming very comfortable giving their employee a digital workplace experience. You are working in a hybrid and a virtual environment now. You don't have to go to the office. Most of the jobs, like IT jobs. So most of the chatbots and virtual assistant use deep learning and NLP technology, natural language processing technology, which is basically trying to automate your task. Okay. So tech companies such as IBM, Amazon Lex, I may show you in some of the session that Amazon Lex is AWS capability. So I will ask them whether you have AWS or not, or maybe I can show you one day on Amazon Lex on AWS, how to make a chatbot. You can make a chatbot with Python, but how do you make it? It will be more simpler if you use AWS application called Amazon Lex. Okay, so that is one thing. Then the second very important third concept or trend is metaverse. Okay, so the AI agent and the virtual reality is going to play a key role in the tech world in the next coming generation, or maybe the next in the future. Metaverse is also called the evolution of internet. So this virtual environment, which is allowing the user to interact with the virtual or immersive, giving them an immersive experience, is something which is going to become a big trend. And metaverse is a combination of various technology. It uses virtual reality, it uses blockchain technology, it uses AI and machine learning. So Mark Zuckerberg in 2021 rebranded his Facebook as Metaverse. This is because that is a trend which is going to come up. So the virtual agents are expected to use AI to enable people to connect to virtual environment. One session I will take on metaverse, where I will show you live example of metaverse world, how companies are using metaverse world, and people are becoming crazy, spending huge amount of money on buying those virtual assets or NFTs. So the famous humanoid, AI robot Sophia, is also trying to tokenize for metaverse appearance. They are also developing a metaverse experience or a replica or the of Sophia. So the improved language modeling is another trend, which we say OpenAI or Chat GPT, what you say. That is going to be a very big trend in 2023, large language modeling. Large language modeling is a technology which allow the computer to understand the language semantics, like how to complete sentence, how to compile certain things, how to predict, which is called word prediction, how to convert text into computer codes, text to text kind of generative AI, or text to image. You write something and you write some text and describe, and it will make an image for you. Today's lot of advertisements are based on that. Last week I got one WhatsApp forward where it said that it was a forward by ITC company, and they said that you can take your picture and you can make a ad with Shah Rukh Khan. And I really did that. I took my picture and it created an ad where Shah Rukh Khan is actually, I am on this sharing a screen space with Shah Rukh Khan. Today, you can send a birthday wishes to your friend from a particular celebrity. So it doesn't mean that celebrity is that you also know and the other person also know. So generative pre-trained transformer, which we call GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. We have now the 4 version, but generate GPT-3 became very popular. You know, it was overhyped by OpenAI. So that uses a large language modeling tool, which are available. So 175 billion parameters are used to process and generate human line languages. So OpenAI, which was launched in August 2021, is the better version. We used Codex also. We use a lot of things, right? I will be talking about that later in one of the session. So this is what I was telling you, using the computer vision in driverless car, chatbots, metaverse, and the improved language modeling. So what are the kind of myth and misunderstanding we have about AI? You know, this is very important for us to know that AI is becoming very, very inclusive and integrated in all our workplace, in government office, in hospitals and schools. It is being used to automate repetitive tasks, to help government decide who need this resource, to allocate them. It helps the doctors in detection of or diagnosing a disease, giving a treatment, a better treatment. So AI actually help in improving the efficiency and productivity. Okay, it can make. So we are going to now understand how and what AI is and how it is being used. The term artificial intelligence was first coined in 1955 by a term of researcher in a kind of a research project in a Dartmouth college. And John McCarthy, who is also called the father of AI, he went to define AI as a science and engineering of making intelligent machine. He was the first person in a research project. He said, can machine think? And the field has developed from there. The AI has come to referred as a broad branch of computer science now, which is developing algorithm and machine capable of automated repetitive task, analytic task, and decision-making task. So the capacity of AI is described in the range, 2 kinds, which maybe you might have heard about it, narrow and weak, and general and strong AI. AI can perform narrow and weak AI are those AI which can perform simple tasks, while the strong AI can cope up with generalized tasks, but can do something like learning on its own or taking certain decisions based on unstructured data, not well-defined and labeled data. Apple Siri is an example, or day-to-day, whatever we have discussed is an example of narrow AI, which is limited to simple task of question and answers, or maybe a basic calculation, or playing a song which you say, play my favorite song. So if you have any kind of a music app like Spotify or something, whatever song or genre you are listening, that particular song it will play. So it's a very narrow AI kind. General AI is more associated with the concept we see in science fiction movies. Like, for example, Her, if you have not seen, you can see that. Or maybe Terminator, which most of you might have seen this movie. So the most common form of AI used today is machine learning, which is form of narrow or weak AI. Machine learning use statistical model and algorithm to draw inference from the pattern in the data. And this particular inference from the pattern in the data is used to predict an output variable. For example, the action that should be taken or decision. The example include Netflix recommendation system. Okay. The Netflix recommendation algorithm determine what type of movie to suggest. Then next example is a self-driving car. Okay. The self-driving car also adjusts its speeds to match the traffic flow. So there are two type of machine learning, supervised and unsupervised, which I told you. Supervised machine learning infer from a set of example. That means input and output data. And data is labeled. You will understand this with an example in the next session when I will show you in the app. I will use an application and I will label certain data and train the AI to understand and categorize that, because I have told a machine and trained them that this is what. For example, if I want the machine to identify or differentiate between dog and cat, what I'm going to do? I'm going to upload all varieties of dog in various shape, in various volumes of data, images of dog, and label it dog. Then I will input a set of cats pictures in all varieties of cats, different colors, different situation, different sizes, different varieties, breed, I'm sorry. And then I will label it cat, simple cat. I may not know what breed it is, but I will say dog and input certain data. It's called labeling of data. I make the machine recognize. So anything similar, for example, if I upload a certain set of dog pictures and I upload a picture which is not in that particular set of data, but it's a dog picture, because I have trained the machine to recognize dog with a label of images belonging to dogs, it will from that get trained and learn and give a prediction that it is a dog. So that is called a supervised learning. Okay. Unsupervised learning use unlabeled data. That means the data which is not structured, which does not have, any kind of labeling. For example, if I upload just like that, all dogs and cats pictures in a bulk, and I don't tell the computer and don't label it and train the model with the label data, then what happens? The unsupervised learning, as I said, does not use label data. Instead, the algorithm try to identify distinguished characteristic. Right? Some example I may give you, for example, like this, that apple, right? Now, unsupervised learning try to find out the hidden structure and the pattern in the unlabeled data. I have not told the computer that these are apples. In supervised learning, I will put the pictures of apple in different size, shape, red color, green color apple, and from different angle, and label it apple. So whenever I put a picture which is not similar to the picture which I have input into the data, still it will recognize and categorize. Unsupervised is, I will put all the pictures of apple, but I won't name it. I won't label it. What it will do is, it will try to find a kind of a similar pattern in this. Okay. Maybe it can be a color, the shape, the size of the apple. And then it will try to predict whether, so I can put all kinds of apples into it, green apple, all kinds of apple from different angles, and it will try to do that. So this is how this unsupervised learning work, where it will try to cluster all the objects with similar characteristics, similar looking characteristics, and define a pattern into it. So you can see that all these objects have certain pattern, maybe they are in different direction, and try to find a hidden unique pattern into it. Okay. So with the majority of AI in our life, whatever we are using, as I told you, use machine learning algorithm, and it's a narrow AI, a weak AI. The complex and general AI is something which the companies are using. And with each, in the future, AI is going to become more capable and will become more integrated into our life in everything. So this is because we will be collecting the volume of data, because everything depends, students, on data. What kind of data you are feeding to the machine to train your AI. Okay. So maybe in future, the science and fiction movies, what you're seeing is going to become truth. So AI is ultimately the myth about AI being threatened to the jobs of human being, or maybe to threaten to the human life or human existence, is all wrong. AI is created by human to help the society and individual, and it has huge potentials. It can become very integrated in our life, in everything. It will provide lot of benefit and convenience in our life, but at the same time, it is going to give opportunities to people to do more skillful job and more creative jobs. So the time has come, the students, where you have to realize that if you are going to looking for a routine kind of a job, or a job which a machine can do, then you don't have any place in the organization. You need to learn skills, and you need to be more accurate in that. One more thing about the AI, which everybody is facing, and a lot of research is being done on that, is called the biasness. AI is a little biased. Okay. For example, if you ask AI, any AI, which is about text to image AI, generative AI, and you say, draw a picture of a poor person, poor man. So the kind of pictures you will get is the picture of mostly the Asian people, brown skin, black skin people. And when you say, draw a picture of a rich man or successful man, you will get a picture of a white man in suit or something like that. So it is little biased. And this is where the AI system has certain kind of a limitation. As I said, that AI systems are very good at executing rule-based process and pattern. So it all depends on the trainings data set which you are going to feed into AI. So that is something which is important here to understand. Okay. Okay. Let us see some application of AI in various fields. So AI can be used in various field in business, in day-to-day life, and in business also. AI is used in varieties of way. It can be a healthcare industry, it can be in entertainment industry, it can be in finance, it can be in bank, it can be in education, it can be in agriculture also. So let us look into some example of that. Let's look into the example of AI in healthcare. AI in healthcare is vastly used. And I like this example very much because AI has taken over the healthcare and industry like any other industry. So there are variety of data which is fed into the that is called medical data, which is feeded into deep learning or neural network, which is playing a major role in the healthcare industry. So AI implementation in the healthcare industry, if you see, is estimated to grow by 15 trillion by 2030. That's a kind of AI what we are using, whether it is in the form of diagnostic, whether it is in the form of early diagnostic of certain disease, which is not possible with any kind of machines. I'm going to give you an example of that, whether it is in a surgery, a robotic surgery, or it is in the form of finding a treatment, a vaccine. Some example we are going to see in this. So artificial intelligence is using the medical data, the expert domain knowledge to come out with a lot of applications. Okay. So this is the kind of research which I found was very useful for you. So how in 2023 you can see that 14.6 USD billion dollar was invested by the companies, including Google, IBM, Apple, Microsoft, in the healthcare market, because AI has a very promising future in healthcare industry. If you see, North America actually counted for the largest share in which is around 47.6% in the AI healthcare market. Already it's more than now 50% of share. So the market of AI in healthcare industry or healthcare sector is growing. Even the government is taking a lot of initiative, even in India. So we look into those examples now. Some example, one of the best example in our day-to-day life is Alexa. So Alexa is becoming a new medical consultant. In UK, during the pandemic time, the Alexa has come up with a new feature, which is a voiced enabled healthcare service called Health Navigator Alexa Skills. You can build up any skills in Alexa. You know that? So, just a minute. I'm just going to show you one example now. So, what Alexa did was, Alexa was basically helping the uh, old people to assist while they were alone during the pandemic time. So if the children are away and if they have some medical emergency, so nowadays you have a watch where you have a IoT sensors. So if you fall or you're unconscious, how Alexa can send an intimation to a nearby emergency, ambulance or maybe a medical center which you have feeded into it, or maybe it will inform your uh, family member about that accident. So we'll look into one example now. Let's see if it plays. So this is a example of CORTI cardiac arrest detection system. Okay, this I will show you in the next class because the sound is not coming. Okay, these are some real examples of how AI is helping in diagnosing a heart attack. So let me take you through some other examples now. Just a minute. Just give me a few seconds, right? Just give me a few seconds. I'll just come. Just give me a few seconds, students. Okay. So I was talking about AI in healthcare. So how AI has taken over the healthcare industry, because you know that in healthcare industry we have availability of vast amount of data, right? So ML is machine learning is having a capability of processing a high dimensional data. Medical data is high dimensional data, and that is where the deep learning is highly used. So when we are talking about medical, okay, this already I have covered. Okay. So this is what I want to tell you. This is a case study, which is a beautiful case study on lung cancer. And this particular lung cancer case study was done by Google. What they have done, I will tell you about that. So lung cancer has a highest rate of mortality among all the cancers. If you see this data, in United States in 2018, there were more than 1,60,000 death because of lung cancer. And this is because the early detection of lung cancer is near to impossible. The early detection, if it is shown, it can actually reduce the mortality by 20 to 43%. But it was not possible to detect the lung cancer because it's very difficult for using any kind of imaging system to detect the lung cancer in the first step itself. So what was happening was many people, because they were not diagnosed, they were diagnosed only in the later stage of the lung cancer, and the possibility of surviving was very less. Because what happens in lung cancer, there is a low dose of CT imaging which is used to screen and diagnose lung cancer. So the rich company, the economy like United States, their health system also suffer from the challenge. Because what was the challenges in diagnosing the lung cancer was that human radiologists were giving the erroneous conclusion. That means they were giving a false conclusion. It's not because they want to give it. It is because of the low, MRI scan, or the radiologists were not able to identify. It was not very much evident from the images. And there were a lot of wrong reporting which were done by the radiologists. And also the challenges was a shortage of trained, expert radiologists. So in May 2019, the scientists in Northwestern University and the Google, they wrote a research paper. They did a research paper and wrote a research paper which is available online. If you want, you can go ahead and you can check that. They wrote a paper called Nature Medicine. And it basically had a result of research on how to use AI to train with certain kind of past data to read the low dose CT images, which the radiologist or the human eye were not able to do that. They were not able to detect cancer from the low dose CT images to identify the lung cancer at early stage. So the scientists, what they did, they compared the accuracy of AI system diagnosed with 6 expert radiologists when they did this research. They diagnosed the same low dose CT image used with the help of AI system and compared with 6 expert radiologist opinion on that in this paper. So in this case, they were able to look at the recent scan and the earlier one the AI system performed as a radiologist, and from both the scan and with the previous past scan where the scan has had the cancer but was not able to detect, what radiologists were not able to detect, that was fed into AI system to train the AI model. So what AI could do is they had produced few false positive. What is false positive? That means you don't have lung cancer, but the report showing positive. That is called false positive. So incorrectly concluding the presence of cancer is called false positive, which radiologists were doing. When they used the AI system, they had produced, but it was less than the radiologist. And also something called false negative. False negative means cancer is there, incorrectly concluding the absence of cancer, whereas it is there. So thereby reducing the unnecessary follow-up procedure and cases of missed tumor. So the system was able to pinpoint a region of the lung which carry the cancer tissues. Now, how it happened? What were the sources of AI and advantage over the radiologist? First, the system was not bound by the constraint of the human eye. Eye can look at any image which is 2D in form. That means they look at only 2D image slides on the screen. Whereas the AI built system can look at the entire image in 3D form. So system could look at both the recent and the 3D image, and also now it is around 4D vision, which is better than the human vision. So it is about computer vision. So because it is far, and it also has a greater computational power, and it was trained on all those images from the past which has the lung cancer, and it was not concluded as lung cancer. The recent scan, all those data was filled. So what it did, it tried to analyze each pixel, that is 3D and 4D, each pixel as a combination of pixel with the granularity with the human radiologist could do. And also the system relied deeply on deep learning, the Google deep learning AI. So as I said, the AI was trained on a subset of cases with all kinds of scan from the recent scan where the lung cancer was not detected. It was fed into the system. It also was fed with a set of data which has diagnosed positively with lung cancer in the recent scan. Both kind of data was fed into the system to make it learn better or to do the better prediction about the presence and absence of cancer. So it didn't do any kind of a trial and error method. Just like how I said, the child, learn by doing it. So the lung cancer is one of the best example which Google deployed in this paper. If you want, you can go ahead and you can check the Nature Medicine by Google, and you can see all kinds of scanning and all kind of the entire case study is there. How the Google. So my advice to you all student is that please go through these case studies and learn how AI was applied to do something which was impossible and which was really a problem in the medical industry. One more example I will give you. This is an example of Stanford University. So Stanford University students are supposed to do project. I hope you may be in your college, you are asked to do some project in the final year. So the group of engineer students, they came up with something called self-navigating cane, a smart cane, a smart stick, you can say, for blind people. So this is because of the problem around us. The problem is about the people who are blind and they have to travel alone without anybody's assistant. And most of the time they get lost, they get injured because they're not able to go into a certain route. If it is a familiar route, they can go without any help. But if it is an unfamiliar route, they basically get lost or get injured. So even in the familiar, in the route which they go, every day, they have to walk very slowly and they have to be very much alert on that. And the net result was that most of the people were, facing this blind people were facing a lot of mental and physical health issues. This is one of the widest problem. So some solutions were found, like for example, in US, people use these guide dog, who are trained to take the visually impaired people to the destination and all. But that is also not a very perfect solution. So these group of students came to help these blind people walk confidently with the help of this smart cane. So what they did is, and they can, the blind people can detect any obstacle, or with the help, they can go anywhere without the help of any guide dog or anybody, and they will not get any injuries also. So this idea was borrowed from the autonomous car, the driverless car. So these set of students in Stanford, they developed a prototype called augmented cane, which they have, this is like this. And this was displayed in 2021. And with the help of this, the blind people can walk faster, they can walk with more confidence, they can avoid injuries, and they can also go to their destination without any help. So this is now available commercially. They started selling it at $400 now, and it is a very light cane. They can carry it with them anytime. So the body of this particular cane has a power of AI. And how does it work? Just like a driverless car. So I'll just show you a video of that. But before that, let me tell you the kind of components of these. So what kind of component it has? It has a GPS system, an accelerometer, a magnetometer, and a gyroscope. Uh, just like a smartphone, it will monitor the user position, speed, and direction. Okay, the GPS and the mapping capability can guide user. So there's a speech system, so user can give a voice command. A microcontroller is there which can receive the data from various sensors. So there are a lot of sensors, IoT sensors, which are used. The AI will interpret all the data which is collected from the sensor and help in navigation and send the instruction to the wheeler. So the wheeler will allow the user to move into a particular direction to avoid any kind of bumping with any obstacles or avoiding the accident in the roads. It has improved the walk by these blind people by 18%. They can walk faster with this smart cane. The sensor now is very light and very small. It is very powerful and less expensive. So AI help in dealing with this data. Whatever data is collected from the sensor in the smart cane was sent to AI, and AI is already trained with those data. So AI can now take a decision on behalf of a blind person and give a direction to the blind person to walk in any direction, to stop, to reduce the speed, to avoid the obstacle and all. So let me see if this video plays. You can see here now. So these are the students who are doing their project, and how they develop the prototype. He's explaining that. We can see the smart cane. So all the students from transdisciplinary or multidisciplinary engineering stream has come together, and they came up with this concept. So you can see that how this works. So there is a wheel, there are sensors. You can see that it automatically works like that. You don't have to, take the stick from right to left, and you don't have to move it. It will automatically move on its own. You just have to hold it and give a command, and it gives you a voice instruction. So it will take the images. There's a camera also in this, inbuilt camera, GPS, and sensors. And all these data, the image data, the sensor data, and the GPS data combinedly help the blind person to walk confidently without any injury to the destination. It's just like an autonomous car, how it works. So this is a professor. So they're supposed to do project with the professor, and then complete this project in the form of developing a prototype and then commercially trying to market it. So the person is saying that how he has got this idea from the, you can see here. I'll just go to the other one because I have very less time now left. Now, one more very good example, students, I want to tell you. This is one of the best examples which each one of us has suffered, and we have gone through this trauma of the corona, virus. So how a company, it's a AI company called Moderna, and this company used AI to speed up the development of vaccine for corona. So this is an American, Moderna is an American biotechnical company which basically use AI. They collaborated with a pharmaceutical company to accelerate the development of the vaccine. So when in January 11, China declared the virus, by February 24, the 44 days later than when it was declared that there is a virus, the Moderna, and by that time in the 44 days, they have understood the characteristic of the virus. And many companies started actually developing the vaccine. Moderna was the first company to come up with the first batch of vaccine. But because we have a lot of approval system from the government body, from the regulatory authority, so it has to go through a clinical trial, and the clinical trial of 1 year, they have to go through a clinical trial and they have to get it approved from the US FDA, and typically it took some time for these vaccine to come into the market, okay, because they have to do then again clinical trial, then human trial, so many trials, so it takes a lot of time to do it, and people were very speculative about using this vaccine. So how this technology work, I'm going to explain you that. So in our human body, we have something called DNA. All of you know that, you have studied in your science. So this DNA in the human body has something called mRNA. It produces something called mRNA, which is also called messenger RNA. This messenger RNA is the molecule which is produced by the cell, and it carries the instruction to something called ribosome, okay, which is also called the protein factory of our body. Now, what it does, it just carry a message. So mRNA carries a message to the ribosome, and with this message, the ribosomes start creating a certain types of protein. There are different kinds of protein which is produced in our body. It will produce a certain kind of protein. So what is the work of mRNA? Just to carry a message, an instruction to the ribosome to produce a typical kind or a kind of a certain type of protein. Okay, so Moderna did try to find out how to create synthetic mRNA molecule outside the body and insert them inside the fatty substance in the form of nanoprotein. So what it will do is the ribosome will take an instruction, and to the this mRNA, synthetic mRNA, when it's injected in the body, will take an instruction to produce a special kind of a protein which will detect the coronavirus, because we all know that coronavirus was made of or was enveloped into a special kind of a protein shell. So when a body detect a coronavirus, so mRNA immediately send an instruction to the ribosome to produce a kind of a protein which will dissolve this protein shell around the virus. And when this protein shell is dissolved, what happens? The virus inside the protein shell lose its life. And after some time, they become inactive. They stay in the body, but they will die. They will not have a capability of producing multiple copies of virus. And this is how they will not be able to infect any organ in our body. This is what was the work of the mRNA. I'll show you a video on this. And this is how they developed this. They got a approval of this. And with the help of AI, they could develop a synthetic AI and develop this. So I'll show you a video on this. Please read the caption. So these are the vaccine which was introducing a synthetic mRNA. So it is just explaining what I explained you. mRNA is a kind of a molecule produced by DNA, and this mRNA will just hit your ribosome in your body and give them an instruction to produce a particular kind of protein. This is a work of mRNA. Okay. Now they are saying that how do you produce? Most of the virus will have spikes of proteins. These spikes of proteins are dissolved. Unless until it's not dissolved, they don't become weak. So what happens in our body? Our body produces antibiotic, which will recognize a certain kind of protein automatically, and automatically they develop a fighting system, the white cells, to deal with that, to attack this. So if certain kind of viruses like influenza, cold and all, these are recognized by our body. And at that time, the mRNA send an instruction to produce a kind of a protein to detect that. This is a natural process of our body. But coronavirus was something which was not recognized by our body. So mRNA, they're saying, is just like a USB drive carrying an instruction for the body to produce a specific kind of a protein and kill those protein shell outside the body of the uh, virus. So you can see these vaccine uses the synthetic mRNA, which is inducted in our body. And this synthetic mRNA, with the help of AI, it is programmed to produce a specific kind of, so they interact with ribosome and they produce a specific kind of a protein. And this particular protein, so what happens now, this particular protein will go and attack a virus, which the coronavirus, which is not recognized. You see, this ribosome is producing a specific kind of a protein, and this protein will go attack the coronavirus and dissolve the protein shell around the virus. Okay. And once it is done, our body will recognize the virus inside that and will kill that. The coronavirus will become weak. So this was how AI was used in that. Let me see the time. Okay, I have 15 minutes. Any questions so far, students? Okay, the next one, last example I'll give you. This is a very interesting example, and this is a very popular example. Even in India, we do this. It's called Da Vinci surgery. So Da Vinci surgery is a robotic assisted surgery. So Da Vinci surgery is used in majority of complex surgery today. From last 1 decade, from last 10 years, we are using this. Even in India, there are a lot of surgery which is done by robotic, and they call it robotic, but it is actually, in scientific world, it is called Da Vinci surgical system. It's the most advanced robotic system. And this system basically comes with something called minimum invasive surgery. What is minimum invasive surgery? Normally, a kind of a surgery, suppose, let's say you're doing an open heart surgery. What do? You have to do a huge cut in the heart, or you're doing a tumor surgery in the stomach. You have to do a huge cut, which will result in huge blood loss, and which also require, because what happens when a human labor do a surgery, they make a huge cut, huge blood is lost. They have to insert their hand or the equipment with their hand to do the surgery inside. They have to look into the organ. Now, with the help of Da Vinci surgery, you don't have to do this. You will do a very small cut, which is called minimum invasive surgery, because you don't have to use a surgical hand. Surgery is not using its hand. They are using the equipment directly, and whatever is there inside the skin can be visible to the system. So that is how the robotic surgery is more famous and more popular and more successful. So you have to do only 1 to 2 centimeter long incision, which will result in less trauma, faster healing, and shorter hospital stay in compared to open surgery, which we say. In certain cases, we can't do, for example, in certain cases, you have to do open surgery, like heart surgery, we can't do the open, but soon it will be possible. But bone surgeries and all, it's done with the Da Vinci surgery. So though Da Vinci surgery is little expensive, in certain hospitals like Manipal or Apollo, they have Da Vinci surgery. In many hospitals, they have all the orthopedic surgery done through Da Vinci. So there is a lot of training also required for the surgeon to learn the system, basically. So this is used in wide range of surgeries like cardiac surgeries, in so small, not the open heart, the urologic, gynecologic, pediatric surgeries, general surgeries. So this is where the Da Vinci surgery is very important. So Da Vinci surgery consists of 2 separate sections. One section is a robotic tower, which you can see here on the top. The robotic tower has the 4 arms. If you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the 4 arms. 3 of them will hold the surgical instrument. And the 4th one is a 3D high definition camera, which will be inserted into the skin to look into the organ. And the second section is you can see a console, and the console is where the surgeon will sit and operate the robot arms. While there is also a stereoscopic monitor, if you can see here, one surgeon is standing here. So this is additional video screen which will allow one member of the surgical team to observe what surgeon is saying. And this surgeon in the console is manipulating the robot arm to do the surgery. So this is one of the big example. I'll show you the example of this. So this is an example of Apollo Hospital in Bangalore. You can see that how surgeons are actually just like a joystick in the gaming console. You can say that how the peeling of the skin is done. It's so precise. So it's very safe, accurate, faster recovery. You have a lot of advantage, shorter hospital stay. But these are very expensive machine. So few hospitals, big hospitals are using this. Cancer treatment also is done through that. So a lot of complex surgeries are now done with the help of in big hospitals with robotic surgeries. So I want you all to go through this material. It's called deep learning based auto contouring. Okay, I'll just. So I also want you to learn on this because in the next session we are also going to understand how AI is transforming the agriculture industry. Because agriculture is the most oldest profession in our world, and especially in India, where 60% of people are occupied in agriculture. So how AI and how India is using AI to transform their agriculture sector. And then we are also going to understand how AI is advancing in power sector, in energy sector, and how AI is used in financial services. This will be my next session. I will also start with a case study on very unique cases where you will not imagine that, okay, AI can be used here or technology can do this also. So I stop my session here. I'm opening my forum for questions. Any questions, students? Or any suggestion or any advice, what you want? Because see, today's session was a very basic level, very, maybe most of the thing you already know. Slowly, we are going to go to the technical sessions. Because this week, I'm not going to go for a technical session. Tomorrow, I will be again taking certain cases in case study in several sectors, industrial sector, about how AI is applied there so that you have an idea. And maybe in the next week, I will be teaching you through certain application. I'll give you some examples through application. And I will also advise that during those sessions, maybe tomorrow I will tell you when is my next session. I will advise you to download or go to a particular application. Maybe not downloading because those are all web application, and download certain kind of a data set with you so that you can do it with me. Because when you are doing it with me, it will be an experiential learning. Otherwise, it is a kind of a passive learning. Obviously, online learning is always a passive learning. I want active learners. And for that, if you are doing it with me, what I'm trying to explain you will have a better understanding. So I suggest the faculties of the college to instruct the students to come out with questions. They can write in the chat box. See, now we are using Zoom. Zoom has one more feature called AI Companion. I don't know how many of you have seen that. If you have a Zoom now, they have integrated a feature called AI Companion. An AI Companion will ask the admin to enable the So you can enable that and you can check that. In every application now we have AI. Okay. So any questions, students? No? Okay, we'll end up the session now. See you tomorrow again. So tomorrow again, as I said, we will discuss about some cases. The cases will be little advanced in nature. So I'm going to take you to certain websites and show you the application of AI and how that particular company has used AI in doing something which is unimaginable. And then also we will learn about how agriculture is used by how certain companies are using AI to build an application for helping certain sectors like agriculture, energy sector, and the finance sector. Okay. So bye for the day. I hope you had a better learning today. I'm sorry for the glitches, technical glitches. Tomorrow it won't happen because I'll be using the laptop today. I've not bought my laptop, but tomorrow I'll be using my laptop. Thank you so much. Have a nice
Thank you,
day.
ma'am.